Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving straight into the youth vaping crisis, but we're going to go way beyond the usual headlines about nicotine. We're uncovering a really dangerous deception, a kind of chemical bait and switch that's actually putting kids in the hospital. And that right there, that's how it starts. An offer at just 12 years old. And this isn't some isolated story. These illegal flavored vapes, they are everywhere. It's created this whole market that's almost totally invisible to parents. But for kids, it's all too easy to get a hold of them. And look, let's be really clear here. This is not some small trend. The official figures, they show that vaping among young people is absolutely on the rise. This isn't just a passing fad. What we're seeing is the creation of a whole new generation of nicotine addicts, and it's threatening to undo years and years of public health progress. So the big question is, how are kids getting their hands on these things? Well, it's a mix, really. You've got these bold, under-the-counter sales happening in local shops, but you've also got this massive, discreet network operating on social media. The whole thing has turned into this constant cat-and-mouse game. Authorities will raid a shop, but the dealers and even some shopkeepers, they just find new ways to keep selling. And the medical experts, they are absolutely sounding the alarm. You've got lung pathologist Dr. Daniela Cohen, who puts it pretty bluntly. Vaping is proving to be a super effective gateway to traditional smoking. All that hard work to create a smoke-free generation, it's just being completely undone. We're pretty much back to square one. Okay, so this gateway to smoking is dangerous enough, right? But believe it or not, that's not even the whole story. Beyond all the flavored nicotine vapes, there's a much more potent and frankly deceptive product that's getting really popular with teens. It's what they call the THC vape. So in a teen's mind, what is this stuff? The perception is that it's just pure THC, the psychoactive stuff from cannabis, but delivered in this really discreet, odorless vape pen. They definitely notice that it's much stronger, but the assumption is, oh, it's just a more concentrated version of the real thing. But is that what's really inside? So let's get to it. What is really inside these things? Well, when researchers in the UK and the Netherlands started actually testing these vapes, they uncovered a dangerous substitution that, honestly, it shocked even them. I mean, you had kids reporting these really extreme effects, so it made investigators start asking a really crucial question. Was the liquid being sold as THC actually THC at all? Okay, so this table really lays it all out. It shows the huge difference. You've got real THC, which is plant-based and pretty expensive to produce. Then on the other side, you have these synthetic cannabinoids, which you might have heard of as spice. These are cheap, lab-made chemicals with wildly unpredictable and frankly severe side effects. We're talking psychosis, paranoia, seizures, and that massive difference in cost, that's the key to this whole scam. So a biochemist named Chris Potney started testing vapes that were confiscated from schools over in the UK. Now, he expected that maybe, in a few rare cases, he might find some spice, but the results he got back were pretty alarming. And this number right here, it just perfectly illustrates the scale of the problem he uncovered. Get this, an incredible 1 in 6 of the vapes being sold to kids as THC were actually filled with this dangerous, hazardous synthetic drug. And it turns out the whole thing is a brutally simple and very, very profitable scam. Dealers just buy this cheap, potent spice, they put it into generic, refillable vape hardware, and then they market it all over social media as something it's not. The profit margin is just huge, and the customer, well, the kid vaping it, is completely in the dark. But, this isn't just about a chemical swap in a lab somewhere. This scam has severe, truly life-altering consequences. Let's talk about the human cost of all this. Just take the story of a father named Arnaud. He finds his 15-year-old son's vape, and, he figures it's just nicotine, so he takes a few puffs. The effect was terrifying and immediate. It was an experience so intense that it left him shaking and sick for hours. And it gave him this horrifying glimpse into what his own son was actually consuming. And Arnaud's story? It is definitely not unique. Across the Netherlands and the UK, schools and hospitals are reporting this surge in severe health incidents that are directly linked to these vapes. We're talking about kids collapsing at school, kids having trouble breathing, even developing serious heart conditions. And this is not a substance you can just decide to stop using.
When Arnold's son tried to quit, he suffered through this intense withdrawal. In fact, experts point out that the experience is comparable to coming off of heroin. That's how bad it is.
So, all of this just raises a massive question. How is a drug this dangerous, this addictive, spreading so easily among kids? Well, the answer, as it turns out, lies in a series of pretty big systemic failures.
I mean, the supply chain is just shockingly simple. Dealers can literally buy legal chemicals online and then just make the spice themselves with DIY instructions. They operate with almost total freedom on social media platforms like Snapchat. And law enforcement? Well, they're often focused on the nicotine vapes, and they struggle to keep up with a threat they often can't even identify without proper lab testing.
And maybe this is what's most worrying. The doctors on the front lines, they believe these severe cases they're treating are just the tip of the iceberg. They're trying to sound the alarm bell, warning everyone that there's a much larger, hidden public health crisis that's still unfolding right now.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that the colorful packaging, the sweet flavors, it's all designed to hide a danger that's completely invisible to parents, to teachers, and most importantly, to the kids themselves. In a market that is literally built on deception, the single most important question is one that almost no one can answer. Do you really know what's inside?